Hello, beautiful people. Happy weekend and welcome to your astrological forecast for the upcoming week. I'm going to dive into the transits just in a moment. As you can see, I'm in a different environment. I arrived in Slovakia. I already covered a lot of aspects of my transition in my practical application of astrology, which is already released on my YouTube channel, so you can check it out if you are curious to hear. And yeah, as usual, I would like to open this space for my higher self, my spirit guides, angelic team, ancestors, beings of light, and everybody of a high frequency that wish to be present for this recording to support us on our evolutionary journey. So here we are, post Aries full moon, which was not an eclipse, but it definitely felt like it. Obviously, I don't know how for everybody else, but I can definitely say that yes, it kicked a punch for sure. So we're going to dive in and see what is in store for us for next week post this lunation, which was not an eclipse. So now we are technically out of eclipse season, and now we're going to start building up towards the new moon in Scorpio, slowly, surely, which will be on November 1st. But of course, now we're still integrating the after effects of the full moon, but the moon is already waning, is already losing light. So tonight, moon is moving into the sign of Gemini. Tonight is Saturday. I'm recording this on Saturday, but I will be very likely publishing this on Sunday. So by the time you're watching this, moon is in the sign of Gemini, which is helping us to inquire what just happened with this full moon in Aries, because of course Mercury, as the ruler of Gemini, is in the sign of Scorpio. So we dig in deep, and we are just about to move into Scorpio season, which is what we're going to be talking about. Okay, so Monday, moon is still in the sign of Gemini. However, moon will move into the sign of Cancer, which is the sign of her rulership, on Monday night, Tuesday early morning, depending where you are in the world. And then subsequently on Tuesday the 22nd, Mercury will make his closing trine to Saturn retrograde in Pisces. As I already mentioned, Mercury is in the sign of Scorpio, therefore influenced by Pluto, and actually influenced by Mars as well by traditional astrology, and Mars is in the sign of Cancer. Pluto is still in the sign of Capricorn, affected by Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So this is a closing trine, which is kind of like a harvest season. And this is slowly, surely coming to the close of the cycle that began between Mercury and Saturn on 28th of February 2024, which was right after the full moon in Virgo, which took place on 24th. So this trine is happening on 13 degrees 12 minutes. Then also on Tuesday, same day, Sun is making the exact square to Pluto. Pluto is now, of course, direct, 29 degrees 40 minutes. And this is... even though it is a closing square technically, but because of Sun, it has the flavor of a first quarter square for Pluto, which is a crisis in action. And Pluto being on his last few minutes of Capricorn, because Pluto is going to move into the sign of Aquarius for the third and final time next month on November 19th for the next 18 years, because Pluto will ingress for the first time into Pisces in 2043. So anyway, this is a preparation for the upcoming conjunction between Sun and Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, because the last time they still conjuncted in the sign of Capricorn, which took place on January 20th, 2024 on 29 degrees and 59 minutes of Capricorn, because Sun moved into the sign of Aquarius right after that, and Pluto shortly afterwards, few hours later. So this is a crisis in action, which is saying, okay, what it is that needs to be done. Sun is still in the sign of Libra at this stage, so this is all about balance, about neutralization of these old energies that we are dealing with. Pluto is on 29 degrees of Capricorn, Saturn is on in Pisces retrograde, and and this is all about balancing that which now became illuminated to us fully, especially after the 16 years of Pluto transiting through the sign of Capricorn, that is no longer creating the structure of reality that potentially makes us feel safe and secure. So the exact square, as I mentioned, is happening on Tuesday the 22nd. However, we are familiar with this energy because it was already active for the full moon in Aries when we experienced the Grand Cardinal Cross. So there were two T-squares. Pluto and Mars are still in opposition. The exact opposition hasn't happened yet, but they are going to be loosely in opposition for the next 6-7 months, with the exception of about a month when Mars will retrograde too far into the sign of Cancer. But yeah, we're going to have the final opposition, I think, in April or something like that. So anyway, so this is all about pressure, that something has to change, and I believe that majority of us became fully conscious of it during this full moon in Aries, because it illuminated a lot of aspects of our reality that are not necessarily in alignment with the experience we want to be having going forward. Okay, then on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, depending where you are in the world, Sun will move into sign of Scorpio, so we'll be entering into the Scorpio season. So technically, the Sun square to Pluto is the final aspect Sun is making from the sign of Libra, and then Sun will move into the sign of Scorpio. Sun will remain in the sign of Scorpio until November 21st, which is when Sun will move into the sign of Sagittarius. So throughout Sun transiting, throughout the time of Sun transitive through Scorpio, there will be a lot of stuff coming out to the surface, because Scorpio, of course, is our subconscious, is the shadow of humanity. So Sun will be illuminating all of that. It will be casting a light onto the things that we don't normally want to look at and deal with. But also the other aspect of it is that the veil is very thin. So we have the opportunity to tap into the invisible realms to support us through this transition, through this process of metamorphosis, of transmuting these energies that are now making us feel disempowered, and it's time to free ourselves from. So Scorpio season begins Tuesday 22nd or Wednesday morning 23rd, and then on Wednesday the 23rd, or again depending where you are in the world, if you are in the US, this is still happening on Tuesday the 22nd, Venus, as the ruler of the South Node, now in Sagittarius, is making a trine to North Node in Aries, 6 degrees 24 minutes, which is 6-6, comes to number 12, which is the Hangman, but it's also 6 is about harmony and balance, it's about the choice, because the Lover's card, and the 12, we simplify it to number 3, which is all about expansion. And Venus, of course, currently is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is retrograde in the sign of Gemini, ruled by Mercury in Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, ruled by Saturn, so, ruled by Neptune. So this is where we go in circles, trying to dig deep and find out what it is that needs to go through this process of metamorphosis, right? So Venus being a sign of Sagittarius, it's all about expanding the stories of the past, the stories of humanity, this continuation of relationships that we are having on this planet, with the planet, with ourselves, with one another, with everything, because everything is relational. So Venus is now expanding on that, going through the sign of Sagittarius. She's influenced by Jupiter retrograde, and we are reevaluating all these stories that have been present in our life, that we were acting on, copy paste, and now this is all coming up to our consciousness, and we have the opportunity to make a different choice. So Venus making a trine to this North Node in Aries, it's supporting us in going in this new direction. And as I said, number 6, which is where is taking place, 6 degrees 24 minutes, 6-6, it's all about harmony and balance and expansion and looking at things from a different perspective, because Jupiter retrograde is definitely taking you inwards, not outwards, not seeking information outwards. Yes, the stimuli is coming from outside potentially, but to take it inwards and ask yourself, what is your truth? And now I understand why one of the decks that I chosen really wanted to speak. So yeah, we get to that. So anyway, so this is Wednesday the 23rd, just to remind everyone that Venus conjuncted North Node on April 17th, which was after the April eclipse, the one in Aries, and also before the full moon in Scorpio. So then we continue on Thursday 24th, moon is moving into the sign of Leo, which is all about authenticity, right? Our authentic expression, our purpose, and still on Thursday night or Friday morning, depending where you are in the world, Mars is going to make his first of 3 sextiles to Uranus. So Mars is currently in Cancer, Uranus is retrograde in the sign of Taurus. This is happening on 26 degrees 10 minutes. This is a first sextile, which is the Taurus flavor, the creating of a new foundation. We know Mars being in the sign of Cancer, it's helping us to understand the essence of who we really are and let go of all these identities or all these labels that we inherited, because this is not who we have to be going forward. We can choose, right? Also, this is, 26 degrees, so that's a Piscean decan. So we can let go of that which no longer holds a meaning. So either way, this is first one of the 3 sextiles. So they are going to have a sextile 2 more times. The second time will be on January 23rd, which is in between the full moon in Cancer and the new moon in Aquarius, which will take place on January 29th. And at that time, both will be retrograde. Currently, Uranus is retrograde, so it's accelerating our evolution of creating of this new foundation, because everything that we are so used to and attached to is kind of falling apart. And in January, during the time of the second sextile, they'll be both in retrograde, because Mars is stationed in retrograde in December, and then will ingress back into the sign of Cancer in January. And then the final sextile will take place on 4/4 portal 4/4/25, and both will be direct. And what is interesting about this date is that 4/4/2024 was actually when Sun made a conjunction to North Node in the sign of Aries, ruled by Mars, right? So Mars is going to make a sextile to Uranus 2 more times, helping us to create this stronger foundation with regards to who we are becoming, not who we were, that is part of who we are now, but is this still what we want to keep recreating? And that is the question. And this is happening under the influence of Moon being in the sign of Leo. So what is your authentic expression? What is your truth? Because by this point, Moon, technically Moon still is in the Sagittarian. Moon is in Leo, 8 degrees, so it's still Leo Deacon. It's interesting that right before this sextile, Moon is actually going to be making a trine to Venus. Moon in the sign of Leo making a trine to Venus in Sagittarius, which is a closing trine for Moon to Venus. And this is again about the harvest, making us tap deep within, reconnect with our inner child, with our authenticity, about like what makes us feel joyous and happy. And that is what's going to help us to expand this story, the story of the past, which was always about trying to play the role that would allow us to survive, that would allow us to fit in, that would allow us to belong. And this is something that we are breaking free from, because it's no longer about survival. It's about how can I be who I am and still fit in, maybe not with everyone, but with the people that are right for you. So anyway, so this is the sextile. And then on Saturday, we are going to have Vesta make a trine to Pluto, and then subsequently Moon will move into sign of Virgo. So this is all about digesting. It's all about this going through the process of learning and adjusting, right? Virgo, hero's journey, making adjustments based on everything that we've learned, based on everything that became illuminated for us during this full moon in Aries post-eclipse, and then subsequently this week with, Sun moving into the sign of Scorpio, obviously the square between Sun and Pluto becoming exact, and Venus making a trine to North Node. This is all about going forward, all about pushing us forward towards this new story that we as humanity have the opportunity to create. And in a sense, it's not a choice. What the story is going to be is a choice, but the fact that the story has to change is not a choice, because the North Node is in Aries. It's saying we're going ahead, ready or not, that's it. So Moon is moving into sign of Virgo, where Moon will remain for the entire weekend until Monday, and that's when Moon will move into sign of Libra. For some people, it will be still Monday night. For us here in Europe, it will be already Tuesday morning. But before that takes place, still with the Moon being a sign of Virgo, we'll experience the first trine between Mars and Neptune retrograde in Pisces on Monday the 28th. And Venus will make a square to Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So that's for another week. This will be by then build up towards the new moon in Scorpio. But yeah, we can see that Mars being in a sign of Cancer and slowly, surely preparing for his retrograde is going to make multiple aspects to the big planets. The 3 sextiles to Uranus, 3 trines to Neptune, and actually, I will talk about it next time, but the third and final trine between Mars and Neptune will take place when Neptune is already in Aries, ruled by Mars. So this will be very interesting, these Mars retrograde season that we will enter into at the beginning of December 6th or 7th, depending where you are in the world. Mars will station retrograde in the sign of Leo. And as I mentioned, subsequently, it will move back into the sign of Cancer in January, and then move back into the sign of Leo on April 17th, 2025. And during that period of time, we will be really, really reevaluating, like really, really taking an action, having the opportunity to take an action on everything that we've learned throughout this North Node in Aries transit, which began in July 2023. And we know that in August 2023, Venus was retrograde in the sign of Leo. So this is all coming around for us, and now will be a time to make adjustments based on that, starting from January, especially because of the nodes moving into Virgo Pisces. And that's all about the adjustments and release. So this new cycle can then begin, because with Saturn and Neptune both moving into the sign of Aries shortly in 2025, but then fully in 2026, and also Uranus into the sign of Gemini, we are all making choice right now, consciously or subconsciously. Even not making any choice, any decision is a choice, right? So this is where we are being invited to become more and more aware of ourselves, on our life, of our environment. And that's why these aspects are becoming so impactful and so profound. I'm just going to put the nose down because I think Spirit wants to come through. So yeah, these aspects are becoming really impactful in our everyday life, because we can no longer ignore it. We can no longer say that, oh yeah, you know, like, don't care, don't care that world is in chaos and my life is in chaos, because the things, especially with this square, the sun square to Pluto, 29 degrees Libra, 29 degrees Capricorn, these are cardinal signs, and we know the North Node is in cardinal sign, being tried by Venus this week, upcoming week, and Venus in Sagittarius. The expansion of humanity is imminent. It's imminent. It's no longer it isn't a choice. It isn't a choice. It is a choice, but it isn't a choice, because we all agreed. We all signed up to it, and we all agreed. And us as a human collective consciousness in 2012 made a decision that we are going to ascend, that we are going to rise our levels of consciousness. And the story of, as I keep repeating myself, of suffering, victimhood, and all these struggles that we experience predominantly because of the disconnection from ourselves, because of the lack of self-worth and self-love and self-trust, and continuous externalization of our power to that which is outside of us, and then never feeling safe and secure and never feeling satisfied. It's like this continuous void that never gets fully filled, because it can only be filled within. This is ending, and that's why these aspects are becoming so potent, so profound, so felt, strongly felt in our everyday life, because we have to do something. We have to do something, and what this means to individuals is unique to the individual. Whatever choices and changes we need to make, we can see that a lot of people are getting sick, a lot of people struggle with mental health issues. Also, a lot of children are, struggling with all sorts of stuff that has not been around before, autoimmune diseases, and more and more of this neurodivergency is being present in our everyday reality. We can see how the human race is being mutated. We are being mutated. Our DNA is going through the process of mutation, and we need to adjust. Like our mind, the way we interact with the reality outside of us, has to adjust to this process that we are undergoing on every level: physical, emotional, spiritual, every level, mental. So this is why all these things, like we can see that this week and also the week after, prior to the new moon in Scorpio, the proverbial poo is gonna hit the fan the weekend after. It's actually the weekend where I'll be traveling again. On the 2nd and 3rd, we'll have again tons of aspects going on in 2 days, but mostly this week, upcoming week, and then the days leading towards the new moon in Scorpio, the astrology is fairly quiet. There is not like crazy amount of stuff going on. There is all this like deepening of awareness, because with the sun moving into the sign of Scorpio, we're going to really, really start interacting with our shadows of the humanity, shadows of ourselves, and these things that are making us feel not good enough, not good about this life that we are experiencing. So all this is coming up to the surface, and it's all serving the role of expansion, all of it, because Venus is the rule of the South Node, which is still in the sign of Libra, it's making this trine to North Node, which is saying about this new direction. Mars is in the sign of Cancer, which is saying about us becoming a new future human. We're becoming someone different. And the way we're going to be experiencing reality, interacting with reality, and relating to reality will be different. It will be different to what we've been experiencing for the past thousands of years, because the soul wants to be present. Because as I mentioned in my previous videos, during the new moon, solar eclipse, in Aries, in April, Mars was in the sign of Pisces. Now full moon, Mars is in the sign of Cancer. Next eclipse in Aries, the final one, on March 29th, 2025, Mars will be still in Cancer. So we have all this water, all this flooding of emotions that are bringing everything that is unresolved from the past, that now we need to look at. The memories are resurfacing and we need to deal with it. We need to feel it. So that's why I feel that the astrology is fairly quiet for these next 2 weeks before the lunations, because there is this deep process of inner investigation, where we really have to look deep and deal with whatever resurfaced, whatever became illuminated and continues to become illuminated, because sun is, like where the universe is shining the torch, and sun is going to be in the sign of Scorpio until obviously 21st of November. So we have all this stuff to deal with at the moment, and it's not going to go anywhere, because we know that the energy cannot be destroyed. We can only change it into something else, but it cannot be fully destroyed, which is why it keeps coming around and around and around and around. And every year, every season, every cycle, every lunation, we have the opportunity to make a different choice based on all the tools we accumulated, all the growth we have done, and everything we've gone through. In the meanwhile, we have the opportunity to approach the situation differently. And this is what I feel that it's going to be very present for us, especially with this Pluto hanging on this 29 degrees for another few weeks, 3 weeks technically, right? Until he moves back into the sign of Aquarius. And then that's it. Then we're going to start working on the Aquarian topics that we already were dipping our toes into for the past 2 years, because Pluto already was in Aquarius for a few months last year, 2023, and now this year, right? So we have more of this potentially idea. I mean, we don't have the full picture, but we have the inkling, we have the tastes of like, okay, things are changing. Okay, there is more and more people asking, more and more people are asking questions, more and more people are inquiring, more and more people are stopping and thinking like, is this really it? Is this how am I supposed to live my life? What am I supposed to do? How it works? All these stories I was being told, all these stories that then I observe because I find a proof for it, because by the law of attraction, whatever you believe, you find a proof for it. Is this what I want to keep recreating? Because if we really believe that we are creators of our reality, then obviously I must be creating it. And if I want to create something different, then I have to take responsibility and again heal the blockages, or become aware of what it is that is preventing me from having the experience I claim I want, and then heal these blockages. And as I shared again in my practical application yesterday, the best way for you to see what are the blockages, or what is the stuff that is preventing you, is through interaction with other people who trigger the hell out of us. And then we can start digging, then we can start inquiring, then we can start trying to figure out like, okay, where is this coming from? What is this story? What is it based on? Is it the truth? Is it my truth? Do I want this to be my truth? Because we know that Sagittarius is mutable, Gemini is mutable, and Jupiter is in Gemini, right? Retrograde. So all the stories of the past are coming up to the surface for a deep investigation. And with Venus being a sign of Sagittarius, it is serving the expansion of human collective consciousness, because we cannot move forward when we not frequency match to what's awaiting us in the Aquarian age. We need to transmute the energy that is blocking us from going there. So anyway, guys, so this is what I feel that is technically summing up, this, and again, like this Mars making a sextile to Uranus, and then subsequently the following week trying to Neptune. It's the same thing. Uranus is and has been since 2018 in a sign of Taurus, fracturing the foundation of our reality, literally making us to wake up, literally. And I mean, I'm Taurus sun, so I can tell you for sure, my life has changed forever since Uranus moved into the sign of Taurus. So it really is fracturing all this. It's fracturing this comfort zone and this sense of safety that we created based on survival. You know, how much we are able to settle, how much we are able to sacrifice just so we survive, right? You know, as long as we survive, right? So yeah, so Uranus is tearing it all apart. It's tearing it all apart. It's breaking it all apart. So we get out of our reverie, out of our sleep state of this copy-paste reality of being on a hamster wheel, this rat race reality that most of us are experiencing, most people are experiencing, that don't even have a time to breathe and put their feet up and even try to vision something different for themselves because of the way that matrix is constructed, which again, you know, we made it this way, you know, consciously or subconsciously, but we can change it. So that's why this Uranus is now, I'm sorry, my hair is stuck in my earring. This Uranus is like really breaking it all apart. And with the Mars being a sign of Cancer, and will continue to be in a sign of Cancer for a while yet, despite the 2 months in Leo, it is challenging our sense of who we are. You know, it's really challenging it. And Cancer, of course, being ruled by Moon is continuously moving every 2.5 days. Moon is moving, so it's like it's triggering different aspects of our inner landscape. Like, what about this aspect of you? How does it feel about this reality that you are experiencing with this person, with this situation? Like the emotion, this Mars in Cancer is bringing a lot of emotion to the surface. And this sextile to Uranus and trine to Neptune, and then opposition to Pluto, which, like I said, will be ongoing on and off for 7 months. We are balancing by creating a new foundation through release of the old that now no longer serves and holds a meaning because we maxed it out. There's the 29 degrees. There's the Saturn in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces. That's the end of the Piscean age, which ended last century, right? So this is it, guys. So there is nothing really much, I don't feel, at least with my current capabilities, there is nothing much else I can or I want to add, because we are in the process of metamorphizing into something that we don't yet see, and it's a choice, because the sun on the final degrees of Libra, 29 degrees of Libra, is the Gemini decan. So it is the choice that is making us to go dig deep within and decide, do I want to face my fear and become stronger through overcoming them, or do I just want to keep hiding and escaping and blaming everybody else for not having the experience that I want to be experiencing because it's somebody else's fault? And that is the Capricorn, the authority, responsibility, and then becoming conscious creator of reality. We cannot have one without the other. So let's see what the cards have to say, because I have quite a few decks and some of them brand new that I had never used before, but I am going to start with the Energy Oracle from Sandra and Taylor, because let's just read the energy. What is the energy of the current times that we are going through at the moment, please, Spirit? Okay, what are the energies that we are interacting with at the moment? Okay, there is a card. Carrying Connections, number 14. And it's hard to say which way it was, so I'm gonna read both. And it's number 14, which actually in tarot is, I believe, Temperance, right? Which is about healing. And you can see, again, relationships. That is the 29 degrees of Libra. This looks almost like a lover's card, right? Carrying Connection, and this number 5, number 5, the change. So let's see, number 14, and what's at the bottom. Oh, this one is upside down, and it's the garden and the gate. So this is the upside down. So we don't see that we can get through the gate and go explore different horizons. We don't see. You see, she's behind the gate. You can see the butterfly. Can you see? There is a little butterfly there. You see, there is this opportunity for change, this opportunity for growth, this opportunity for becoming someone new. So we can go and explore this new horizon, but we can't see it because we think that we cannot open that gate. So yeah, let's see what these two cards want to say. number 14 first, which is the caring connections. So I'm gonna read both because I can't tell you for sure if it was which way it was. Okay, caring connections. So that's these two beings here. Friendship, partnership of two, possible love, upright. This card shows a couple in a tender embrace with the woman holding the blossoms of new love. Like the community card, this reveals a caring connection, but usually between two people only. This card upright signals the beginning or deepening of a kindred spirit friendship or even the appearance of new love. It can also signify a formal business partnership. When this card appears, be on the lookout for new connections presenting themselves. The relationships you already share might become more intimate, purposeful, or present at this time. Notice the opportunities to forge new or deeper bonds. There may be a tender karmic connection at hand. And if it's reversed, this card reverse signals a break in communication or a parting of the ways for two people. Whether romantic, social, or business, the present connection seems to be at or close to an end. If this is the case, consider what healthy action needs to be taken to move on. As difficult as parting may be, it can often lead to bigger and better things. Keep in mind both the logical and emotional aspects of leaving this connection behind. Make plans, vent your feelings. Always remember, with every ending, a new beginning is at hand. An affirmation: I open my heart and life to truly caring connections. The ideal friend and partner is coming to me now. So yeah, I feel this card is really about, well, reconnecting to ourselves, reconnecting to the spirit, because this is the this is the main ingredients for this creation of a new reality, but also looking at our relationships around us differently, and this is again something that I was talking about in my practical application of astrology yesterday. Like when the old patterns are coming around and we have the opportunity to decide, do I want to change the way that I relate to in other people, the way I do relationships, what I experience in relationships, or do I just find another person that I will keep reliving the same pattern, right? But something has to change, and the change has to come from within. So I feel, based on this card, like with the individual experience, probably many people, and South Node is still in the sign of Libra after all. This Venus trying to North Node means Venus is sextile in South Node. We know that they just had a conjunction in September, so this is the first sextile, which is Taurus, creating a new foundation. Many of us are reevaluating, what do we want in relationships, what it will look like, what it will feel like. The more that we are on this path of self-discovery and owning our worth and stepping into our leadership and taking responsibility, the less we are willing to settle for anything less than we deserve. Because like I said, like I keep saying, and other people keep saying too, when you change, the reality around you has to change. And if these people can't change, or the role that they play in your life was just to help you to grow into this person you are now, but they cannot go any further with you, then it's a choice. It's a choice whether we want to grow, or whether we want to settle just to keep the connection and just, in a sense, sacrifice, right? Which is this old paradigm relationship. For the survival, we sacrificed, right? But on the world stage, we can also see how the relationship between people and like countries and leaders and the way things are, people are becoming disillusioned, because it's about this: do they have my best interest as a part of their best interest, which is the definition of love. I trust that you have my best interest as a part of your best interest. This is a teaching of Teal Swan. You can check it out on her YouTube channel. Because if not, then what is this relationship about? It has to be equality, the giving and receiving, the Six of Pentacles, and also equality about, there's the Aquarius. The Aquarian age is about reciprocity, about giving and receiving. So if there is an imbalance in any relationship, it doesn't matter, then it will come to crisis, because there's the Libra Aries axis. If the one person is the one giving and the one taking, and there is no balance, there is no reciprocity, then the person giving will become depleted, right? And then eventually that will stop. So caring connection. So I think many of us are reevaluating, what does it really mean, especially as we are ending Libra season. So we had this whole month of Sun traveling through the sign of Libra to think about it. Like, what does this really mean for me, and also what balance and harmony am I experiencing in my life through the people that are present in my life right now. And again, Sun is on a Gemini decan, which is connected to Jupiter retrograde and Mercury in Scorpio. We dig in deep and we trying to potentially make a different choice, or at least ask questions and inquire. Okay, and now this garden and the gate, which is the number 30 reverse. Number 3 is about Jupiter, expansion, and also Empress in a major arcana, which is Venus, right? Relationships. The garden and the gate, abundant, prosperity, staying safe, but this one was reversed. If this card is reversed, it indicates the happy choice to open the door to a more spiritual pursuit. You might have been obsessed with worldly issues before, but your readiness to go deeper is now here. Many people believe that they cannot live in a material world, make lots of money, and engage in spiritual priorities at the same time, but you now realize that it isn't true. In fact, you can bring this wonderful spiritual focus to any endeavor. And when you do, you'll find that beyond your garden, the universe is willing to fill your life with beauty and joy. Expect the unexpected, for joyous synchronicity abounds. Affirmation: I'm blessed with an abundantly spiritual life. Every day, in every way, my joyous prosperity grows and grows. So that means that actually this card reverse is the positive, because it's the card when it's upright that represents the blockage. So let's just read it as well. So upright, the card shows a peaceful young woman in a beautiful blossoming garden with colorful flowers all around. However, the gate to the road outside the garden is locked, while the girl wears a key on a chain around her neck. Oh, cool. I haven't even noticed that. Yeah, there it is, the key. The key is right there, just like in a devil card. They can take the chains off, they just don't know it because they are like stuck with the decisions they made. This card upright bodes well for the financial scene. In fact, there may be a lot of money or other personal pleasures coming your way at this time, but be aware the choice to stay in the seeming security of this lovely garden might actually be motivated by habit or fear of the unknown. The beauty is enticing and worth enjoying, but you may not be giving your spirit the freedom to roam. While it's fine to amass a great deal of wealth, don't let it keep you from your karmic path or from living your truth. You have the choice to shift your focus, widen your spiritual perspective, and gain the world that is just outside your gate. Okay, so this is very clear to me, because whichever way you look at this card, we know that the reality, again, is about survival, the reality that we co-created together, which is working for some people. I'm not saying it isn't, some people actually are happy and they're having a great time, that's fantastic. But it is not the case for everyone. So how much are we sacrificing to have this comfort, to have this wealth, to have these riches and stuff? And if it's an equal exchange of energy, so yeah, I work all these hours and stuff, but I'm getting what I want and I love my life and I love my job, then that's fine. That's fine, nothing wrong with that. So I feel that again with this like the first card about the relationship, we are reevaluating the relationships and the way we interacting with the world around us, and the other aspect of it is the material possession, and is it worth it? Is it worth it for me to be killing myself for what? And also, like I hear that, okay, many people will say, well, I don't have a choice, I have kids to feed, I have rent to pay, I just have to keep doing it, and stuff. So I really feel that a lot of us are like thinking like, is there a different way? Is there a different way of being, a different way of living, where like our, I want to say like outgoings, like the money that we have to pay out, like does it have to be this way? Do we have to be, like and this is a $1 million question, obviously, because when we look at it from the global scheme, that is just like, well, there is no a simple answer, there is not a simple solution to the state of the world at the moment. But I think a lot of people, just like with the gate, open or close, some people are happy to just keep going with their life the way it is. I can again use my family as an example. They want to complain about it, but they're not going to change nothing. They're just going to stay the way they are, do the things they do, and just complain about it, and nothing will ever change, at least not until they decide that they want things to change. So yeah, so there's the garden close, my needs are met, like, yeah, I'm surviving over here, it's great, I have my comfort zone and everything. But for many people, that's not enough anymore. So in that case, people are opening that gate, opening the door, and seeking alternatives. And whatever that is, it's unique to the individual, but more and more people are seeking alternatives. They no longer willing to stay in that garden of, like, yeah, my needs are met, I'm going to survive over here because I have enough food and money to pay rent, but that's not enough anymore. So that's what I mean. Like, many people, especially I feel through this eclipse season that we just experienced, and subsequently the full moon in Aries that brought up a lot of stuff to the surface in preparation for this Scorpio season we are entering into shortly. People are asking some deep questions over here, especially after all this stuff that's been happening lately, with the natural disaster and disclosures and all these other things that are happening, that are, again, Uranus in Taurus, shifting the foundation and showing us like how and insecure the foundation really is. It's not very stable. It's not what we thought it was, right? All these people that we like maybe held in a high regard, and then they fell off the pedestal, and that's the role they meant to play, because they meant to show us that, well, you should never externalize your power to this extent, because it always, the main needs to stay within, the main sense of safety, security, and reliance. So anyway, so I don't want to get myself tangled into any more, but this makes sense to me, how a lot of people are reevaluating everything about their life, their relationship, and the material. Okay, now we're going to look at this one, which is my new deck. It's Moonology Messages, because we just had the moon, obviously, last week. Well, this week, because I'm still recording this on Saturday. So we're going to see what messages there are as an after effect of this moon. So let's see. This is the first time I'm using this deck, so let's see what comes out. Okay, what messages do you have for us as an after effect of this Aries full moon? Void moon, do nothing. Yeah, you see, like chilling on us, chilling in the middle of the desert, right? And we can see the crescent. I never know whether this is waning or waxing. I'm sorry, I'm not that that good with looking at the picture and distinguishing that. Void moon. Oh, void moon. So that will be, is it right before the new moon? Anyway, do nothing. So yeah, it's time for introspection. It's time to go within. And at the bottom, release blocks. Exactly. Do nothing and release blocks. Why? Because how can we attract a different reality if we still have all these subconscious blockages? The falling moon release blocks, and there is that full moon. So that's what I was trying to say, that this full moon illuminated a lot of blockages, a lot of things that are preventing us from having what we want. Okay, let's see. So do nothing. I think this is in alphabetical order. I hope it is. Okay, let's see. Not necessarily. Okay. Okay, I'll have to pause this because I have no idea where the cards are. Alright, I found it. There is a very interesting way how they put these cards in order. Okay, so the void moon. Here we go, void moon, which is when moon is a little bit unbound. Do nothing. As a very powerful being, you know that you're creating your reality with your thoughts and actions every day. Even so, drawing this card suggests that you need to do nothing for now. This is a time to tread water, so to speak. Allow at least 24 hours to pass before you take any further action. This isn't the time to set intentions, make wishes, or try to influence anyone. Now is the time to just be. Meditate, do yoga, take a walk in nature. There is a good chance that whatever you're worried about isn't going to manifest. It is said that whatever begins under the void of course moon bears no fruit. So drawing this card suggests any anxiety you have is unwarranted and will only cause more issues. However, if you're really hoping for something to happen, there is also a good chance it's not going to, at least not yet. You need to be patient. This isn't a negative card, but it does suggest no change is coming as yet. Additional meanings for this card. Worrying achieves nothing. There is nothing to worry about. The time for actions has passed. Allow events to unfold in their own time. Nothing will come of this situation. About this symbol, depending on whether you use the traditional or modern definition of the void of course moon, it takes place either every couple of days or just a couple of times a year. Either way, it's a time to do nothing as much as you possibly can. So it's a time for shadow work, Scorpio season. And then let's see about this one, the release blockages, which I feel are so strongly connected. These two cards. Release blocks. Something about your situation is blocked. There could be some repressed emotions swirling around your current situation that needs to be released. Anger in particular could be blocking you now. This is a problem because emotions are like the water as you ride along the river of life. Block your emotions and is as though the river has dried up, so you can no longer cruise or drift or even lurch forward. We'd all like a straight answer to our questions, but sometimes that answer is inside you and you need to release all the rubbish that is blocking that answer from surfacing. This card reminds you to practice self-care and to process your emotions. It's a myth that being strong and silent is healthy. It's healthier to allow yourself to express your emotions, and that may be exactly what you need to do now as a response to your current situation. If you believe that insecurity on your part is currently holding you back from success, this card is a reminder that only you can work on yourself. Additional meanings for this card: be honest about your feelings. Take anger management lessons. Breathwork will help you now. Ask someone older than you for advice. You've lost your way and need to recalibrate. About this symbol, the image of the moon falling is a scary one in some ways because without the moon, the earth spins out of its orbit. Similarly, without processing our feelings, we can also spin off our path. Yeah, and how many of us had to suppress our emotions because it's too much to feel, right? So yeah, Scorpio season, here you go. Don't do any crazy decisions because it's time to process emotions and release the blockages so we can manifest beyond what we've been recreating over and over again that is no longer in alignment because the gate has opened and we want to go explore new horizons. Okay. I have this deck, which, I don't know why I want to speak because it's not necessarily a nebulous energy out there. Well, I mean, Mars will be trining Neptune next week, 28. But anyway, this is one of my new deck. I bought a lot of decks while I was in UK and US. Is the Dream Gate Oracle from Daniel Noel, who's got the most beautiful artwork. And yeah, let's see. So let's dream the dream. Let's see if we are not meant to do anything and release blockages. Then let's see what the Dream Gate wants to tell us. Okay, Dream Gate Oracle guidance. These are all my first time using these cards. Okay, what's the guidance, please, Spirit? Okay, the desert. Oh wow, we have another desert. Authentic self, transcendence, courage, and genesis. Look, there's another desert, just like here. Two deserts. And yeah, walking the path towards the crystalline new age. And also the diamond. The diamond doesn't happen unless there's pressure. Transcendence, courage. Okay, and at the bottom we have the golden hour. Positive omens, the great central sun. Yeah, this is what we're walking towards. We need to get through the dry desert to get to here. And we know that the dry desert is about doing nothing, about meditating, about releasing blocks. Yeah. Okay, so let's see this desert, what it wants to say. Authentic self. This is a card of self-discovery, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Okay, I don't know. It's going to be on the... Okay, I got it. Here we go. The desert. Crossing the threshold, authentic self, transcendence, genesis, courage. I am ready to find myself. I let go of what I resist. Releasing blockages. Sounds about right. Dusk breaks into the veil of twilight as the desert sun swirls and collides, enveloping the seeker as he pushes on toward a light ahead. In the distance, the glow of an overworldly temple cuts through the obscurity of the storm. At the horizon, this vision appears hazy and bright, a mirage in the dark void. Void? Again, we have a void. 20 more paces, and he stepped through the portal. Often depicted as a barren void where life cannot thrive, the desert has been known to hold its own numinous mysteries. These corners of the world receive very little precipitation and house a deep sense of wild and unruly chaos that moves with the wind. As a mirror into the language of spirit and self, the desert can indicate feelings of isolation or exile, embodied in a place where we wander the world without finding our bearings. In this liminal space, we are forced to move toward the unknown, as we are left exposed with only our soul to guide us. This chasm reflects the life-changing events that completely shake our worldview. To move through the desert means to reorient ourselves from a much higher place of spirit once we cross beyond the threshold of our own awakening. Here we stand face to face with the nature of our true self, without artifice, without earthly attachments, without ego, without fear. Often this defines who we truly, fully are once we emerge out of the shadows. Scorpio season. This is a holy reckoning that only makes us wiser and stronger. The message, the positive omen shines upon you, dear traveler, as you move through the obscurity of the storms that arise. The journey ahead is like a sacred unfolding, one that will take you deep into the heart of the desert, where you will face yourself with total clarity and truth. Remember, this is a transformative phase in your life, as the trials you encounter are simply stepping stones along a path of self-discovery and growth. With each stride you take, you will find that you are becoming more resilient and in tune with a newfound wisdom within you. Move toward the light of your brilliant soul gems and strength. These challenges will only propel your perseverance and reinforce your endurance. Allow yourself to believe in your potential and let these tests amplify your courage. What do you prioritize in life above all else? Wow, this gives me chills. It's so profound because it speaks so clearly to the other cards, right? Wow, and at the bottom here is now holy renewal. Yeah, it's crazy. We have to go through this. We have to go through this because this is where we're heading, the golden age. And then at the bottom was the holy renewal. And this is actually the cover girl. The holy renewal, rebirth, recreation, cycles of healing and initiation. Yeah, look, the cover girl. There we go. This is literally where we're at as humanity. This is beautiful. Yeah. There we go. Okay, let's just pull a major arcana to top it up, and then I'm going to use the soul's truth because we have this truth coming up for us. So that's interesting, you know, about these transits that are coming up. What is the truth? And I have a deck that is called the soul's truth or something, truth of your soul. Okay, let's just get the major arcana. Okay, major arcana message for this week. What is all of this about, please, Spirit? What is the big secret? Oh, okay. Emperor. Yep, taking responsibility. Going into new direction, but it can only happen when you have a strategy and you lead and you take responsibility, right? And at the bottom, strength, of course. Of course, we are still in the year number 8. We are building our strength to become the conscious creator of our reality, our own leader. Okay, and finally, another new deck, the soul's truth, the truth of your soul. Let's see, what is the truth? Okay, a little message. Okay, there we have one. If I had a magic wand and could have anything I desired in life, what would I choose? Soul truth, this is what the deck is called. There you go. If I had a magic wand and could have anything I desired in life, what would I choose? Burn with desire. There is power in your desires. Let them be your fuel today. Your desires are your soul's wings, and it's time to take flight. Today's soul action. Today go inward. Your answers lie within. What do you desire? Choose what makes you happy and do that. Okay, guys, I think that's a perfect closing message. So through all of these things that we are all experiencing, there is an opportunity to go through this transmutation, find out who you really are, this Mars in Cancer, let go of who you are not, what you no longer want to be experiencing, the stories, and decide, what do you really want? What do you really desire? Okay, so I leave it at this, guys. I'm going to publish this tomorrow, which is Sunday, so Moon is still in the sign of Gemini at that time. And I wish you a wonderful week ahead. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share. If you think somebody else would benefit, if you would like a reading, contact me. I can help you with technically anything, you know. I mean, I can't do it for you, but I can help you to understand it. Yeah, you can find the whole range of my services on my website, moonlightsoul369.com. And until next time, much love everyone, and speak to you soon. Bye for now.